Welcome back, boys and girls. Today I'm going to share how I butcher and freeze my venison. And this usually takes me about 40 to 50 minutes depending on the size of the deer. And also I like to have some fun, so here it goes. Nurse scalpel. No, the other one. Oh, thank you. I like to make sure my knives are very sharp so it's easier to work with, and for me it's actually safer. That way I'm not forcing anything, and having a sharper knife just keeps me at the edge where I'm more cautious. Okay, here's the spike that Doug shot. I'm sure you remember, about 11 days ago. So we've been aging this for about 11 days in the refrigerator. And today I just want to kind of go over how to butcher a deer and how I use it. Now this is a hindquarter, as you can see. First of all, I have to cut all the fats off. My wife insists that I do all my butchering and processing because she wants to make sure everything is nice and clean. And she's very sensitive about what we eat. So everything we eat has to be organic and non-GMO. So get all those fats out. And my wife's really smart shopper, so between Costco, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and Wegman, she's able to buy most producers that are organic and non-GMO for this almost same price as the non-organic ones. But one thing that she couldn't find a really good deal on is meat. Organic meats are very expensive. I mean, if you want something like a decent sized steak and in organic, you're looking at about 25 to 30 bucks per person. So if you have 4 in the family, you're looking at over 100 bucks just for a steak dinner. So, but with the venison, you don't have to worry about the cost of the meat. Now, after and you also want to get all this little bloody stuff out of the way. Now, what I do is I just cut it right here like this, like so. And then cut the joints right here. And if you go right down to it, you will find the joint right here. It's not hard to find. And just separate it here, like so. Now make sure your blade is going away from you, not towards you. Now this is a hindquarter right there. Now what you want to do is you want to put your finger right here and kind of separate it, and then this meat, you could actually see them separating themselves, and you could just kind of go in there nice and easy, and just go with the layers. And again, cut all the fats that you don't want. Cut it out. Now this is a part of the shank here. You want to put that separately. So that's the shank right there. Now you want to cut. Now you want to go with the layer, and just kind of separate, and they will just come apart themselves, like so. Now, when you see this white tendons here, you want to remove it because you don't want to have that in your steak or even in your grinder, because that's gonna clog up everything and makes everything tough to eat. So there's one steak right there. There's another one over there. Now over here, and then after that, you just kind of go with the bone here. You can see the bone. Just kind of go with the bone, and right here, cut it right there, and just put the incision with the bone, and just kind of go with it like this, and then you have the bones right here. Now we don't throw away the bones. We actually use it to make a broth, and believe it or not, deer broth makes one of the best gravies that you can have. It's got really rich flavor without having all that heaviness or greasiness. And then again, right here, right there, and just cut everything according to each layer, and they just come right out. I like to call this a round steak. If I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but we like to make this into a steak, or even my son loves fried steak with this. And they make great jerky. They make great steaks, jerky, and you know, Korean barbecue as well. We call it bulgogi. So you have 4 different portions of different kind of steak here, and like I say, you could do a lot with that. And with the shank, as you know, the shanks are really tough. So what we do is we use it to make a stew, and they make a great stew. I mean, if you cook it very slow for a very long time, the texture of the meat is really good, and they don't fall apart. And they're really good. And we also make it what we call 장조림 in Korea. What that is that we slow cook it with soy sauce and some honey and some garlic and other seasonings, and they make a really great side dish. So that's the shank right there. And also these steaks, if you want it, you could chop them up and grind it. They make a really great grind meat. Okay, now as I mentioned, Doug and I split everything half-half. So I'm showing you half of the spike buck that Doug shot about 2 weeks ago. Now this is every hunter's favorite part of the meat. It's a backstrap. Now after you ate it, you're gonna see some blood on it. So just kind of wipe it out with a paper towel. Now one thing you don't want to have is this fibrotic cover. That's very, very tough. So what I usually do is that just like filleting a fish, you put a cut in the middle, turn your knife, lay it down, and just go with the grain, just like so. It's just like sushi. And there is that fiber tissue, and there's a clean meat right there. And then turn this around, like so. And again, just hold it here and just go with the grain. Just pull it and slowly move the knife. And that's out. And you have beautiful tenderloin right here. Now, tenderloin, I only eat it as a steak because they're really, really good. And as a steak, I just like to cut them in about inch thickness. And here, you don't want this, and it's kind of shame to throw a part of tenderloin, but yeah, I want to make sure all my meats are really good. Now, as you've seen, this is the meat from the neck, and again, just cut all the stuff that you don't want. Just nice and easy. Make sure you don't hurt yourself. Cut all the little vessels and fats, and right there is pretty good. That's a neck meat, and with the neck meat you could grind it or you could make it into stew. Now this little bit of the meat that we started from the very like a butt area of that spike. So just cut the fats out. Just take a lot of fats in the butt area. And throw away the fat. Again, right here, same thing. This is when you get to cut out everything that you don't want. Because if you don't do it now, it's gonna be really difficult later, and if you don't do it properly, that bad taste gonna go straight to your cooking, and that could ruin a perfect meal. Okay, so that's another piece of there. Now this is tenderloin. As you can see, it's a small tenderloin because it was just a spike bug. But you know, but like the spikes are really good to eat. And here's, we gonna clean some blood out, and again, there it is. Now, same thing with tenderloin. I like to cut it in about inch thickness, and then I like to cook it medium rare with a great espresso barbecue sauce, and they make one of the best steak that I ever had. I mean, you couldn't go to the best steakhouse and pay the top dollar money and have a steak that's good as the Backstrap steak with the espresso barbecue espresso sauce. So about inch thickness. Just cut it like so, like so. And same thing over here. Now once in the end, you could actually use this as a grind meat. And there's a little bit of mixed meat here because I was trying to save as much backstrap as possible, and I got a little bit of meat from the neck. So that was for the as a grind meat. So that's right here, the backstrap with tenderloin. So I'm gonna set it aside right here. And as I mentioned, this is what I call it a round steak. Okay, so you could just cut it in like inch thickness, like so. And the last piece you could use it as a grind meat. So there's a perfectly beautiful steak right there. And like I said, you cook it medium rare and use some great barbecue sauce on it, or you could just do salt and pepper and then make it great. And because they're so dry, they don't have fat in it, we cook it in we put olive oil on the pan before we actually steak it. But some people use butter, and that gives more flavor. And sometimes I like to put a little bit of organic bacon with it. That way they give that grease and also that bacon flavor, and put some salt and pepper, and that makes a great eating too. Same thing here. Now, as I mentioned before, you don't want this very fibrotic tissues here. You want to cut that out. And again, cut the end piece out and use it as a grind meat. And again, about an inch thickness is just the best way to go. Now, you don't want to overcook venison because they tend to be very dry and not very pleasant to eat. So, and they get chewy if they get overcooked. So you want to have medium rare, and it's very juicy, and it's really good. So there's another steak over here. Now once we have everything cut, we preserve it in a airtight food saver, and you could keep it in your refrigerator as long as 2 years. But we try to eat everything within a year, and then next year the new season starts and the fun starts again. Now here we have a front quarter, and again, you know you're gonna see some fats because it's in the winter now, and some people like to save deer fat for grind meat or whatever, but I don't like the taste of the deer fat, and I don't like the consistency of it either. So I just cut them out. I mean, if you like it, save them, and you can use it as you like. And again, now you can see some blood on it. Now this is the time that you want to remove it. And just be generous when you're moving stuff, because it's not worth to ruin a really good meal by trying to save a little bit of meat. It's better to have a really good meat than having a lot of meat that's not really, you know, desirable. And as I was saying, because we eat so much venison a year, we save a bunch of money just on the, you know, organic meat and really healthy meat. And because, as you know, the beef can be very high in cholesterol, and it can be a health hazard if you have too much of it. But with venison, you don't really have to worry about it. You could have, in my opinion, you could have venison 5 times a week and you won't have any health issue. Now again, you cut it right here. Now this gets a little tricky. If you look at the joint right here, there's a little round area right here. That's where the joint is. Just put that blade right there, and then just kind of lift it up and just kind of cut it. And you could see that very fibrous tissue holding the joint right there. Just do that. Just make sure that your hand is not in front of the blade. And as you go down here, it will automatically separate itself. Right, so you have to cut more tendons out of the way. There you go. Now you can see it right there. And just cut all the tendons that's holding the joint. Just make sure that, because you have to put some pressure, you have to make sure that the knife is not coming towards you, it's going away from you. And then it just kind of falls apart right there. Oh brother, I cover my island with Scotch-Tite wrap so that you won't contaminate your island. Now again, this is a shank again, and we cut that off, and I just chop them up and use it as stew meat. And like I said, they make great stew meat. Just chop it off like this. There's a shank right there, and we save the bones for later. And the front quarter now, they're not really a steak meat, and you could use it as a grind meat. It'd be perfect for grind meat as well. But again, and they would also make a pretty decent stew meat. Now I don't try to save the bone here because they are not good for broth. They're too weak. So I just kind of go with the bone shape and just cut it in like L shape, and you get the big chunk out just like that. And here you put the incision according to that bone right there, and then just kind of go cut it in right here. That way you could kind of save some meat out of here. And then on the top, so the same thing, just go with the bone. And then you got a nice piece of meat there. And over here, same thing. Just kind of cut the meat out so you can use it as a grind meat. Now, if you see a kind of bloody spot like this, just cut it and throw it away. Like I said, you don't want blood in your meat. That's what makes it taste really gamey. And some people don't like the taste of blood. I don't either. Now we could use this bone to make a broth, so I actually cut the joint right here and save this, and this goes to trash. This is done. Okay, so this is what it looks like after vacuum sealing it in food saver. And you want to make it look like something that came from a private butcher shop, not something that was dragged out of backcountry. And they're ready for the freezer. Okay, I'm done butchering this bike, and we're definitely gonna enjoy it during the Christmas and New Year. Thanks, Dad. And every year we save at least $5,000 just on organic meat. And in Virginia, you could shoot up to 12 deers after purchasing a bonus tag, which I doubt anybody would need 12 deers, but if you need it, you can. And lastly, remember, Jesus came to save us, not to judge us. Have a wonderful Christmas with your family and your loved ones. Merry Christmas.